So here comes more trouble for the driver, and I think even more trouble for Uber. And let me explain why. So they say access faster airport matches with Trip Radar. Wow. So they're actually introducing the bottom of the barrel auction now to airport trips. And remember, there was a queuing system, right? You arrive, you get in the queue, and you're supposed to move up the queue, get the next trip, etc. And what Uber did and Lyft did, they completely and utterly destroyed their airport business by sabotaging the pricing, by paying the driver as little as possible, because they know they can gouge from the rider. The rider has to get out of that airport, has to get home, has to get to their business meeting, and they will rape. Let me just use the word rape. I'm sorry, but they will rape the rider to get every little cent they can at the airport. And then they started getting clever. Let's do the same thing to the driver. If you take a look at LAX, massive airport, second largest city in the United States, the earnings potential at airports went down and down and down and down, to a point where I made a couple of live feeds. There was nothing going on at these airports. So Dara Khosrowshahi, if you think you are a smart leader, if you think that you're the executive operating dude over there, right, chief executive officer at Uber, I want the investors to listen up, right? Investors, you want to get to the promised land. You want AVs, right? That's your goal. That's why you're hanging in there. Let's be very frank. Let's talk business here. You are hanging in because you think that Dara Khosrowshahi is going to take you to the promising land, right? And what Dara Khosrowshahi is really doing, he's just dipping in as much as he can for 2 years to sort of please these investors, all short-term thinking, but he is completely effing up the entire model and driving all these drivers away. They're leaving. And watch now how many drivers are going to desert airports. It's only the most desperate of the desperate drivers that will be now hanging out at airports, because now it's an auction house. Now it's the bottom of the barrel. Whoever takes the shittiest offer can jump the queue, right? So why do we have a queue? I mean, why even use the word queue? You should abolish the word queue immediately. But no, Uber wants it both ways. And let me explain. So you're in a pilot city, and this is they're going to try this out. There's several pilot cities, and this ain't going to work because they're trying every single way to screw over drivers at airports to extract the maximum. And at the same time, they are trying to stop the bleeding, the hemorrhaging, all the bullshit that Dara Khosrowshahi created, especially at airports. And I'm on record time and time again, even doing live feeds at the airports. Look at what they are doing at airports. Look how they are destroying, sabotaging their own business at airports. And now they're paying the price. And when I say paying the price, they are now resorting to Trip Radar. It's the bottom of the bottom trash that only desperados take. So a lot of people are not going to go and get into this queue because there is no queue anymore. You enter, and yes, on the screen it'll show you're on the queue, but every desperate person is now vying for that. And I should, Dara Khosrowshahi, David Risher, hire me. Hire me. Don't hire me. I actually don't want to work for arseholes like that. Hire Sergio, some people that understand how this whole thing operates, right? Because you have your ass backwards, right? Your face is in your pants and your ass is in your face. That is reality. You're in a pilot city for a new airport experience. Oh my God, you're in a new airport experience from 10/4 today. All Uber airport trips will be on a Trip Radar for faster matches and reduced wait times. For faster matches, and reduced wait time? Because you're not getting drivers there anymore, because they're canceling. They're not canceling, they're not accepting. You wonder why the acceptance rate is so low, Darakoshishawi. It's because you fucked up every good income model. Had you been honest, had you been fair, had you paid well, you could have kept these airports, but you messed up Chicago, you messed up Vegas, you messed up JFK, you messed up LAX, and that is on Darakoshishawi. So you're talking about a smart leader, a smart businessman. Investors, this guy who temporarily, maybe 23, 24, is making you some money, he ain't gonna get you to the promised land, to the AV land, to the autonomous vehicle land, because he is messing up the business with his dumb, stupid ass decisions. Why? Because he's not part of the people. He's not part of the drivers. He does not understand the law of the land on the streets. He doesn't get it. He thinks so. He pretends. The same with David Risher. They pretend to know it all because, they did a little delivery here, or they did a little trip in Napa, and they pretend they know their business. They know shit, right? So if you're not listening to the drivers, if you're not taking the feedback, if you're not hearing that we don't work for crumbs at airports, don't be surprised you have empty airports and you're losing all these hundreds of millions of dollars every quarter at airports, guaranteed. And you call that a smart leader? I call that a shitty leader. I call that an incompetent leader who cannot read and understand the people that are bringing in the wheelbarrows of money for him. And those wheelbarrows are getting smaller and smaller. The loads that we are carrying in are becoming less and less because we don't work for peanuts anymore, Darakoshishawi and David Risher. So you abused, you exploited the system, especially with your algorithms that figured out where to steal, how to take more, and then how to take more and more. And now you are resorting to trip radar at airports. This is how low they can go. On Trip Radar, you can tap requests on the map to see and accept all available trips. See the whole auction house of all the shit that they're trying to get rid of, right? And again, let me repeat this. Who's going to have a field day? Those desperados that drive for onesies and twosies and threesies, right? They're going to be hanging out at airports now. Do you honestly think your comfort, your black, your SUV drivers who have high costs, right, are going to be at airports? They'll be gone. So this pilot project, not thought out, very unintelligent, dumb move. Again, they'll temporarily make a little money from the desperados, but the big picture they've destroyed. And as soon, mark my words, Darakoshishawi, as soon as your veteran and pro drivers figure out, right, that they cannot make money at airports anymore, it's over. So you will see a mass exodus of drivers leaving, because this is where we can make money. I can tell you, I as a private driver, I make 90% of my money there because I know how to price it. I know how to keep my customer. I don't exploit my customer, and I'm getting 100% as an independent contractor, right? So the sooner you become a private driver and start understanding how valuable airports are, you're going to make bank, right? You're going to make bank. I made $300 just last night on airports. So here's what's interesting. The access offers anywhere in the line. So why do we use the word queue or line if you can access it anywhere? So if I'm in a bank, let's just say, I want to show you this example. If I'm in a bank and I'm customer number 4 in the line, there's 3 people in front of me, I'm customer number 4. What these guys are doing is saying, okay, in the bank, you can go and jump into position 1 and get to the teller immediately. You're going to piss off the other 3. I'm using that as an example because that's what's going to happen here, right? That is what's going to happen. You're going to have people in the queue waiting, and they're going to see, fuck, all these desperados are taking away my trips. Hell no, I'm done with the airports. So that they cannot even think this through, my friends. This is the dumbest shit ever, right? Who dreams up this stuff? So like I say, I keep on repeating these type of phrases, but they're either on acid, cocaine, combination of both, meth, marijuana, LSD, ecstasy, or a whole combination cocktail of drugs to come up with this, because this makes no sense. This drives the best drivers away. This attracts the shit of the shit. This attracts people that'll bring the service down, right down. People that are willing to drive for $2-3 out of the airport. And what worth, what value does a queue have? I ask you that, right? So trying to make my argument is because people understand what queuing in line means. Now you're saying, oh, there is a term called queue, there is a term called line, but if I'm desperate, I can break that all up. And now it even gets funnier. I just want to prove to you that they are really on crack. So you can select one or more trips, from that trashy portfolio of radar offers. You'll see multiple airport trip requests because they hope like, oh my God, there's multiple trash radar. Hopefully the guy will take that one. We'll just jump the line, jump the queue and take that one because that takes him into a better direction. So it's going to become like a feeding frenzy amongst the desperados, right? In a single view, trying to match with more than one trip or choosing not to match won't impact your acceptance rate. And there it is. There it is. They have given away their weakness. Dara Khosrowshahi, as a CEO, you have just revealed your biggest weakness, and that is you having a problem with the acceptance rate. And now that you've been introducing this trip radar auction with all the trashy offers, multiple offers that you can choose from, all shitty, right? Now you think you have solved the acceptance rate issue. You have created other issues. You have created multiple other issues. Number 3, this is where they snorted the coke, they took a drag of the marijuana, they popped 2 ecstasy tablets, and now everything's kicking in. Number 3, match a trip. Your queue position still matters. Does it? Your queue position still matters. Does it? Because right here you just said you can jump the queue. You can jump the queue and take any of these trashy trip radars. So does it really matter? No, it doesn't matter anymore, because the queue, you're done with the queue and the line. If I'm number 45 in the line and the people who are number 76 and 85 can jump in front of me and take trash offers away because you're now lowering again, you're lowering the bar, right? That makes no sense at all. How well did you guys think this through, and how stupid do they really think drivers are? That the queue position still matters. It doesn't matter anymore when you're allowing people to jump the line, jump the queue, and take the trash of the trash because you're pushing the prices further down and you think you can gouge us more. Dara Khosrowshahi, listen to me carefully here. You are going to lose so many good drivers, so many veterans, so many of the people that rely on airports, the bulk of their earnings. You've just single-handedly destroyed that. Why? Because you want to get greedy, you want to get to 2025, you want to get to AV, the promised land. And this is where I think Dara Khosrowshahi made the biggest mistakes. And I'm specifically saying this to the investors. You guys, you investors, are banking on the fact that, oh, we have these deals with Waymo and Cruise in Atlanta and Georgia. Guys, in 2 or 3 markets, you will only be in all of these markets with your AVs in 5 or 6 years' time. And right now, he's destroying your business model. Real drivers, right? Driving behind the wheel. Because you are buying into the promise that Dara Khosrowshahi will take you to the autonomous vehicle promised land in 2025. Big freaking deal. You're opening up a few little cities with your AVs. They're not even tested. Cruise just got kicked out of California and then came crawling back again. You are just not ready for prime time yet. Nor is Waymo, nor is Cruise, nor is the Chinese rideshare vehicle, nor is WeRide. All of those companies are not ready yet. Maybe in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time they'll be ready. and those cities. But you got to get all of these drivers from point A to point B. You got to make them happy. You got to make and keep them happy for a few years, but you are destroying your entire rideshare and food delivery model. And these dumbass investors are buying into Dara Khosrowshahi's bullshit. So that's why I'm saying, I work on the street. I run multiple companies, very, very successful companies. I understand. I talk to people. I listen. And then the more you listen to feedback, the more you can correct. So had they listened, not sort of conducted their little in-house little research things where they do it their own way anyway, and where they pay a whole bunch of drugged up engineers from overseas to write these programs. You guys are so fucking out of tune with what's happening in the lay of the land, the highways, the byways, the freeways, the cul-de-sacs, the streets, the one-ways. You're out of tune. You don't capiche, you don't get it. Sie verstehen nichts, sie verstehen nichts, right? There's like a lot of missing bolts going on here because all they see is, AV, and they get this frickin' hard on. And the investors, autonomous vehicles, and they get this hard on, they get this complete boner, right, about these autonomous vehicles. And they don't realize that to get to that oasis, to get to that promised land, to get to the water in the desert, you got to take all those hardworking camels, those hardworking drivers to the oasis, right? Even a camel cannot go for 20, 30 days without water. It's the same formula with us drivers. When we don't see the money at airports anymore, when we can see little desperados coming in here quickly, stealing a little bit of the water, stealing a couple of drips here and there, we're out. And that is going to be your mistake. Quote me on October the 4th. So good luck with this one. Match a trip. Your queue position still matters. You'll be prioritized for trip matches based on your spot in the queue. Based on your spot in the queue, you'll be prioritized. That was once upon a time, if you followed the queue method, the line method. But then as your trip came up and you said, you know what, shit, I'm not taking that because I'm not accepting that acceptance rate. I'm not accepting that because although I'm in the queue, this is a trash offer. I'll wait for the next one. So hopefully in the 2 or 3 offers, you get to get out of the gate and you leave the parking lot. It's not like that anymore. So to say you'll be prioritized for trip matches based on your spot in the queue is again, either they just don't see it or understand it, or again, it's a complete fabrication because they're saying, oh, you know what? Go and wait in the queue, dear veteran, dear person that understands how to make money. And in the meantime, we're going to try and fuck around and get a whole bunch of crappy offers out there onto the Trip Radar auction house. The bottom of the bottom feeders might take them. You have 2 conflicting models here working against each other when you are talking about introducing your Trip Radar model, right? Your bullshit offer model that people, the smart ones, don't accept. And then you are going to implement that in your queue model, thinking that the smart ones will still stay in the queue. Good luck, amigos, with that one. Let's see how this one plays out. Your comments.